Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World War III. I did actually see World War III trending on Twitter a few days ago due to the whole Taiwan situation, with Biden making those comments saying the United States would respond and would help Taiwan should the Chinese do something stupid and try and take them over. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this crazy inflation. And you see this, and I talked about this before, but like today I was out buying chicken, and these bags of chicken, the prices of them keep going up. So originally, like a year ago when I first really started to buy, significant amount of chicken, I would get, these bags, these pounds of chicken, $7.99. With the supply chain issues, the inflation, about a month, maybe actually like 2 or 3 months ago, the price goes up to $9.99. And today I'm checking out some of these bags at the cash register, $14.99. Or no, it was $14.29. $14.29 per bag. And I think Americans are really starting to realize, no, this is what actual bad leadership looks like. This is what bad leadership can do to our country. See, the whole thing with Trump, and he's a racist, and he hates Mexicans, and we want a virtue signal, and he's horrible, that's all great. But when you have actual bad leadership, this is what happens to a country. You start paying $4.50 for gas. And guys, I live in Ohio, so I'm sure it's more at other places, but you look at the gas prices, one day it's $4.09, the next day it's $4.29, 3 days later it's $4.39, I look today, it's $4.45. No, this is what actual bad leadership looks like. You can call Trump is horrible, oh my God, he hates Mexicans, he thinks they're rapists, yes, he's a racist, he's terrible. Let's all virtue signal, wait, this is what actual bad leadership does to a country, and we're seeing just outrageous prices everywhere. It's so sad. And like I said already, guys, I think they're just going to blame it all on Biden. And then Biden will be like, oh, I'm a patriot, I can't run again, whatever, I'm too old, he'll do one of those things, and they'll get someone else in office. I was looking at like the betting odds with Biden. He's not even the favorite to be the Democratic nominee at this point. He's like plus 230, so he is not the favorite. He's like 40% odds he actually runs as Joe Biden at the age of 81, with inflation, with gas prices, with a horrible economy, him running again would go really well for the Democrats, But guys, when it comes to Biden talking about the Taiwan situation, it's clear the United States has chosen this strategy to, be open and be public about their intentions if the Chinese want to make a move on Taiwan. Obviously, Biden isn't saying this just to say it. It's clear the American government said this is our strategy. We want to be public about it. We want to make sure the Chinese understand that we are not playing around when it comes to this situation. And the American government knows exactly what I know, which is the Chinese are a lot more dangerous and a lot higher of a threat than the Russians. And when you talk about Russia invading Ukraine compared to China invading Taiwan, I think Russia invading Ukraine is, in terms of just a, overall full-scale look at an invasion, much more significant and much more important just on a, invasion level. Russia invading Ukraine is more important than China taking over Taiwan, but we really don't give a crap about Russia. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We really don't. They are not the number one threat to the United States. The number one threat to the United States right now is China, and I was actually thinking about it. We're at a point in history right now where it's no one says it out loud, but it's very, very clear the Chinese want to be number one. Right now, they're number two. They're number two on pretty much everything in terms of overall economy, overall military, things like that. They want to be number one. They are a communist society. They don't care about rights. They weaponize their massive population and use it to their political advantage by controlling them and by, holding the idea of many of these American corporations using their labor for money, for monetary gain. They weaponize their population. They don't care about their citizens. They don't care about their rights. They want to be number one. Bottom line, that's not changing. The question falls to the United States, and the United States can respond in two different ways. China wants to be number one. Do you push back against that, or do you let them take over as number one? We know, when it comes to political parties, many of the Democrats would say, let them be number one. It's not that big of a deal. We still have NATO. Many Republicans were saying, no, we need to still be number one. We cannot have the Chinese be number one. And if you say that, okay, welcome to World War III. Right, that's exactly that's the name. That's what would happen if you have two responses to this. China wants to be number one. If the United States doesn't want that to happen, bring on World War III, because that's exactly what's happening. But if you say, no, let's let China be number one, you could actually have something worse than World War III with China as the number one overall world power, with how, they don't care about human rights or anything like that, if they have that much more influence in the world. Guys, remember, what China does is they weaponize their massive population. You can have slave labor in China, whatever. They love it. Bring more American businesses to China so they can be compromised by the Chinese. So many of these billion-dollar American businesses that have such significant influence in American politics, they're going to be in bed with the Chinese. They're going to do whatever China says. It's the exact same. It's like the NBA situation with China, with the NBA getting so much of its revenue, so many fans, because of how just crazy big the populations are in these Chinese cities. So many of their fan bases are Chinese. So it's like, well, we can't really say they're bad people because those are our fans. That's how they weaponize their massive population. And overall, guys, there is no, people say, well, Biden shouldn't have said that, whatever. First of all, Biden isn't the one making the decision. The decision made to go public with America's intention against China so the whole world knows, that's a calculated decision done by, military strategists, for the United States government, and they tell Biden, listen, you're going to say this, you're going to come out and you're going to say, we want China to know this is where we stand on this issue. You are not going to touch Taiwan. We're not letting you. And personally, I like coming out. Either way, it's a lose-lose. Listen, I want us to get to a point, and this goes to an even bigger thing with my theory of overall evolution. And the thing with evolution is, guys, everyone thinks evolution, how we evolved, in terms of our overall bodies. I'm thinking more evolution with the brain. And what is our next step to actually evolving as a species and not caring about war, not caring about if you're Russians, not caring about taking over Ukraine, not caring about nuclear bombs, because overall you drop a nuclear bomb, it's a lose, 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 lose. Everyone loses. The human race loses when nuclear bombs are dropped. So why are they made? They're made in prevention. We want to prevent a Nazi Germany, so we're going to make nuclear bombs before they do because we're scared they're going to make them. It's all so complicated, but my overall theory is, I think we almost need a full-scale nuclear war where about 90% of the population dies to actually evolve and realize, okay, this cannot happen. We will literally blow ourselves up. It's like, we already kind of know that. We know that. We cannot have a nuclear war, but we really don't know it because we've never experienced it. Once we experience a nuclear war that wipes out 90% of the population or whatever, a massive part of the population, we will realize this is simply not allowable. And that will kind of be the evolution in the human race. It's almost like we have a flaw to where we know what's coming. Like America and China, they're polar opposites right now. You look at them, China wants to be number one. America wants to be number one. If you let China be number one, what does that do? There's no right answer. This is all horrible. This is all not good. And then China and Taiwan, that's like a buffer. That's like a lead-in. Does that start World War III? Do we look back on history and say, okay, World War III happened because China invaded Taiwan. World War III happened because Russia invaded Ukraine. And I'm not even this huge, I look at a full world view but this is just America reacting. We are being forced by these countries to react. It's like, do we want to start World War III over Taiwan? Do we want to start World War III over Ukraine? Because these other countries, they're the ones invading. We're not doing anything. We have to react to these situations. And you would think at this point, with the nuclear bombs at every superpower's arsenal, these countries wouldn't be so stupid. But again, if we get a situation with China invading places and Taiwan and America does something, and then World War III happens and it's NATO against China, Russia, and India, everyone loses. Not just the countries that started the war, not just Russia, not just China. Everyone loses. Everyone loses. And that's the whole idea of evolution, because clearly people don't understand that war in the 21st century, due to the technology we have currently, it is not an option. You cannot invade another country. But because we have not evolved yet, we still have these leaders invading places. When you've got massive nukes that are going to be dropped, it's so bad. And again, guys, Biden coming out and saying what he said, should America, it's like America, again, the big thing that America's going to have to figure out, do we want to let China be number one, or are we going to do something to stop it? If the answer is we're going to do something to stop it, welcome to World War III. If the answer is let's let China be number one, that could be even worse than World War III if they get that much influence over the entire world. There's your two options. Oh, it's so wonderful. I love how evolved we are as a species. Isn't it great? Oh, it's beautiful. Let's invade more countries and drop nukes. It's going to be so fun for the ozone. We're going to get great greenhouse gases. I wonder how the Green New Deal is going to operate after about 40 nukes are in the atmosphere. That'll be great. Yeah, that'll be good for it. But guys, it is so bleak. And that's the whole idea of evolution. It's not evolution like we're going to turn into aliens or anything like that. Our minds will evolve when we deal with full-scale nuclear destruction. There's a flaw in the human mind. It's like we can see what's coming. It's like nobody wants to, like the United States and China. It's these two meteors. They're on a collision course. Like, are we going to, can we talk about that? Can we do something about it? Please. Can we please do something about it? This is not good. Joe Biden, the president of the United States coming out and saying, we will not allow Taiwan to be taken over by China. We will come to their aid. When China, for years, has wanted Taiwan to be recognized as part of the Republic of China. That's a little bit problematic, don't we think? Come on, guys. Let's be diplomatic about it. Can we meet in the middle or something? Oh my goodness. And then you've got all these food shortages. You've got the United States pumping trillions they've been pumping billions and billions of dollars overseas to help Ukraine while we're dealing with these massive food shortages. This is the NATO problem. So when anyone says, why do we keep sending money? It's because we're in NATO and the burden is NATO is a horrible agreement for the United States. Let me just say that. I've said it before. There's no reason for the United States. We went into NATO 70 years ago. We are at a completely different point in the world compared to where we were 70, 80 years ago whenever NATO went into effect. Completely different. Why does it make sense for the United States? If you look at every single NATO member, the United States has so much more when it comes to military budget, when it comes to military spending, than every other NATO country combined, yet we continue to be in this alliance, and the burden is always going to fall on the country that's most powerful, and the issue is not only is the United States the most powerful, they're the most powerful times 100 in this agreement. It's a horrible agreement. It is a horrible agreement for the United States, and people are like, why do we keep sending billions of dollars? It's because of NATO, and the burden falls on the United States. Listen, I would say We've sent them enough. And listen, I'm sorry, but we have issues here. We have inflation problems. We're not sending you any money. We need to fix stuff here. You European countries need to send Ukraine money. You're landlocked with Russia. We're not even freaking landlocked with Russia. You're the ones that have to worry. Send more money. We're sorry. We're closed. We have our own issues. We have our own problems. But of course, the Congress, the Senate, oh yes, they approve another, $13 billion. I'm sure we're going to be seeing that in 2 days to send to Ukraine when you've got countries in NATO not doing a thing, but now more countries want to join NATO. Yes, I saw Finland. Just what NATO needs. More mediocre European countries. Isn't that great? Yeah. I hate NATO. So why is the United States in NATO? I'm not saying we shouldn't have agreements with European countries. We should. Absolutely. I don't hate Great Britain. I don't hate Germany. The issue is this was an agreement that went into effect. This was a military agreement that went into effect, many, many decades ago. We're at the point where we're so much more powerful than all these other countries in the agreement. The agreement is screwing the United States to where we're having to spend billions of dollars overseas. This is not happening in Canada to where it's like, okay, if they take over Canada, they're right on our doorstep. We got to stop this. This is happening in Eastern Europe, and we're still sending billions of dollars. Come on, folks. Not good. Not good at all, guys, but just wanted to get one of these quick videos out here because I saw World War III trending. And you know what? It is funny to think about. Imagine once World War III happens and if we're all still alive and we go to World War IV, my series is useless. My series name is Welcome to World War III. Imagine if World War III ends. I'm going to have to change it. I'll have to change it if that happens. That's funny. But I just wanted to talk about that 15 minutes in. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.